In Kim's apartment, the emptiness echoes through the luxurious space. The air carries a somber undertone as he wanders from room to room, still haunted by the absence of his boy. The vivid memories of their time together replay like a bittersweet melody in his mind, each note a reminder of what he has lost. He's moved all his work home, hiding from the world, and the only person he has any willing contact with is J-Hope, who continues to deliver him food from his side restaurant and suggests Taehyung use his people to find out where Jungkook might be and bring him back. But, for some reason, Taehyung is hesitant to do so for the first time. His phone rests on the coffee table, silent and untouched. The messages he sent to Jungkook remain unread, a testament to the severed connection. The weight of regret settles on Taehyung's shoulders, and he can't shake the haunting question, what went wrong? A pang of frustration surges through him as he recalls the note Jungkook left behind. Taehyung searches the apartment, hoping that he missed something, that Jungkook might still be there. But the reality is unforgiving. Jungkook is gone. As the day stretches on, Taehyung's emotions spiral into a turbulent storm. Anguish, regret, and a profound sense of loss blend into an overwhelming mix. The artwork that once adorned the walls seems to mock him, reflecting the shattered fragments of his relationship with the boy. Nightfall brings no solace too. The city lights shimmer outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting an ethereal glow on the surroundings. Yet, the beauty of the view is lost on Taehyung as he grapples with the consequences of his actions. Alone in his apartment, the man confronts the truth, the pain he inflicted, and the irreversible rift between him and Jungkook. The echo of his footsteps through the empty rooms mirrors the emptiness in his heart. Days pass in a haze of solitude for Taehyung. The once vibrant home now feels desolate, every corner echoing with memories of Jungkook. His attempts to reach out to the boy remain unanswered, the silence between them growing like an insurmountable wall. Haunted by regret, Taehyung spends sleepless nights wrestling with the results of his actions. The city lights glitter outside his windows, indifferent to the turmoil within. The weight of his mistakes presses down on him, and he finds himself caught in a cycle of self-reflection and remorse. In a moment of desperation, Taehyung revisits the note Jungkook left behind. The words, etched in ink, convey a sense of finality that he can't ignore. The realization that Jungkook won't be coming back hits him like a tidal wave, and the ache in his chest deepens. The elevator rings, shattering the stillness that envelops the place. He hesitates for a moment, reluctant to face the outside world. The unexpected visitor could only be one person, Mrs. Kim. She greets him, finding her husband in pajamas in the middle of the day in his living room, a subtle smile playing on her lips. "We need to talk," Taehyung sighs, motioning for her to enter. As she steps inside the room, he can't help but notice the air of formality that hangs between them. The once familiar space feels foreign, a reflection of the fractured life they lead. "What's there to talk about?" Taehyung mumbles, his gaze avoiding hers. He knows this encounter won't be an ordinary conversation. Mrs. Kim takes a seat, her posture poised. "Your parents called. They want to have dinner. They're concerned about us." A wave of frustration washes over the man. "I don't want to play pretend, Mrs. Kim. Our marriage is hanging by a thread, and I can't keep living like this." She studies him for a moment, her eyes betraying a mix of emotions. "Taehyung, we've been through worse. This is just a rough patch. We need to present a united front for the sake of appearances." Taehyung shakes his head, feeling the weight of his decisions pressing down on him. I can't keep living a lie, Mrs. Kim. It's not fair to either of us. Her expression hardens. Do you think your little fling with Jungkook was fair to us? To me, the mention of Jungkook sends a pang through Taehyung's chest. It's not that simple. I never intended for things to get this complicated. Intentions don't change the fact that you chose someone else over your wife, she retorts coldly. But we can salvage this. Dinner with your parents, a show of unity, and we can buy some time to figure things out. Taehyung runs a hand through his hair, torn between the life he once knew and the daunting prospect of starting anew. The impending dinner feels like a charade, a performance for an audience that has yet to see the truth behind the curtains. I can't keep pretending, Mrs. Kim, Taehyung finally admits, his voice tinged with resignation. We need to face the reality of our situation. Her eyes narrow, a glint of determination flashing. You can't throw everything away, my darling. Think about your reputation, your family's expectations. We have to try. Why do my parents want us over for dinner? The man asks, a sense of disbelief coloring his voice. Mrs. Kim nods, her expression unreadable. They're concerned about us, Taehyung. About you. Your father knows you haven't even been in the office all these days. He thinks something's wrong, so we need to convince him otherwise. This is an opportunity to show that we are working through our issues. Taehyung sighs, frustration etched on his face. I don't even know where to begin, Mrs. Kim. This is not a matter of just working through issues. It's about re-evaluating our entire relationship. She fixes him with a stern gaze. Taehyung, we can't let this escalate any further. We'll go to dinner, act normal, and deal with our problems in private. But for now, we need to keep up appearances. Taehyung rubs his temples, grappling with the conflicting emotions tearing at him. It's not fair. I have something other on my mind. We are married, Taehyung. Sometimes we have to make a little sacrifices for the sake of the bigger picture, she replies, her tone unwavering. The prospect of facing his parents with a facet of unity feels like a heavy burden on his shoulders. He knows he can't keep up the act forever, but the immediate pressure to conform gnaws at him. We'll go to dinner, he concedes, albeit reluctantly. But after that, we need to have an honest conversation about where we stand. Mrs. Kim nods, seemingly satisfied with the compromise. Agreed. We'll get through dinner, and then we can talk. Just remember, Taehyung, appearances matter. As they prepare for the dinner with his parents, he can't shake the sense of foreboding. The charade he's about to perform feels like a precarious dance on the edge of a precipice, and he wonders how much longer he can balance before everything comes crashing down. The atmosphere in the car on the way to his parents' place is thick with tension. Mrs. Kim's anger is palpable, and Taehyung seethes silently, each word exchanged between them cutting deeper. The little theater they maintained for the world now crumbles in the confined space of the vehicle. Why can't you just play along? Mrs. Kim's voice is edged with frustration. Play along, Taehyung scoffs. This isn't a game, Mrs. Kim. We can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. She glares at him, her eyes flashing with irritation. And what do you propose, darling? That we air laundry in front of your parents? That we let them see our marriage falling apart? Taehyung's jaw tightens. I'm not suggesting that, but we can't keep up this act forever. It's not healthy, for us and for them. Mrs. Kim crosses her arms, her expression stubborn. We have to think about the bigger picture. Your family's reputation, our social standing. We can't afford to let it crumble because of your personal issues. Taehyung's frustration boils over. So, we sacrifice our happiness for appearances? Is that what our life has come to? She shoots him a withering look. Life isn't always about happiness, Taehyung. It's about compromise and doing what's necessary for the greater good. He grips the steering wheel tighter, his knuckles turning white. And what if this greater good is making me miserable? What then? Mrs. Kim leans back in her seat, her tone unwavering. We endure. For now, we endure. And when the time is right, we can figure out a way to address our issues without causing a scandal. In the confined space of the car, the tension escalates into a heated argument. The pretense of a harmonious evening crumbles, revealing the raw emotions beneath.